If you found this video before the lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th, I need you to understand something before we get into anything else. You did not find this video by accident. The algorithm did not randomly serve this to you. You were looking for something, even if you cannot name exactly what it is. A confirmation. A signal. A piece of information that would tell you whether what you have been feeling since August 12th is real or whether you have been imagining it. You are not imagining it. And the 5 things I am about to share are not general eclipse information. They are the 5 specific things the Pisces lunar eclipse is going to force into the light before August 28th, whether you are prepared for them or not. The difference between prepared and unprepared is what this video is about. Stay with me. Before we continue, the fact that you found this video before the eclipse is not the last synchronicity you are going to experience this week. The lunar eclipse corridor is making meaningful coincidences arrive faster than usual right now. Leave a like if this is already landing as one of them. And subscribe. The eclipse video goes live on August 28th on the night of the peak itself. You will want to be notified for that one. Now, 5 things. Let us go. Why you found this video now? Let me explain the mechanism, because once you understand it, you will stop calling what you have been experiencing this week coincidence. The Pisces lunar eclipse is a near total eclipse peaking at 96.2% coverage at 12:18 a.m. Eastern on August 28th. It is the 6th eclipse in a series that began in September 2024 and ends in February 2027. And it is happening in Pisces, the sign that governs intuition, dreams, the invisible threads between things, and the moments when what we call coincidence is revealed to be something considerably more deliberate. During the eclipse corridor, the window between the solar eclipse on August 12th and the lunar eclipse on August 28th, the veil between ordinary perception and deeper knowing becomes thinner than at any other time of year. What you call gut feelings become more insistent. What you call coincidences arrive more frequently. What you call dreams carry more weight and more information. You found this video now because some part of you that operates below the threshold of rational decision making knew that what is coming requires preparation. Not because it is dangerous. Because it is significant. Because the lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is going to force 5 specific things into the light. And the person who understands what they are before they arrive experiences them as completion rather than disruption. You are that person. Which is why you are here. The 5 things the lunar eclipse will force into the light. Thing 1, the feeling you have been explaining away. There is something you have been feeling since August 12th that your rational mind has been providing explanations for. It is probably stress. It is probably the news. It is probably because of the specific external circumstances of the last 2 weeks. The lunar eclipse in Pisces is going to stop accepting those explanations before August 28th. Pisces is the sign that governs what cannot be explained away, the persistent feeling that something is true even when no evidence exists for it, the knowing that arrives before the information does, the sense of something completing that the rational mind cannot yet see. The feeling you have been explaining away is not stress. It is not circumstance. It is the eclipse completing something in the area of your chart where 4 degrees Pisces falls, and your nervous system has been registering that completion for weeks even though your mind has been offering other explanations. Before August 28th, stop explaining it away. Let it be what it is. The eclipse is going to name it for you whether you name it first or not. Thing 2, the dream or realization that keeps returning. Since August 12th, has there been a dream, a thought, an image, or an idea that has returned more than once? Something that arrives in different forms but carries the same essential message? Something that you have dismissed once or twice but keeps coming back with quiet persistence? That returning signal is the 2nd thing the lunar eclipse is going to force into the light. The eclipse series that ends on August 28th began in September 2024. Whatever the returning dream or realization is, it has been trying to reach your conscious awareness for longer than this eclipse season. The Pisces lunar eclipse is the 6th and near final eclipse in this series. It has been building toward making this specific message undeniable since September 2024. The dream that keeps returning is not random. The realization that will not stay dismissed is not wishful thinking. It is the eclipse series completing 18 months of work to bring one specific piece of understanding into your conscious awareness. Before August 28th, write it down. The returning message. In one sentence. As specifically as you can. Because the eclipse is going to make it undeniable, and the person who has already written it down will understand what is happening when it arrives. Thing 3. The conversation that has been waiting. There is a conversation that needs to happen before August 28th. You know which one it is. You have been thinking about it since the solar eclipse on August 12th, possibly for longer. You have been finding reasons, good, reasonable, entirely understandable reasons, why now is not the right moment. The lunar eclipse in Pisces is going to force the conditions for this conversation whether you initiate it or not. This is one of the most reliable patterns of Pisces lunar eclipses. They create situations in which what was being avoided becomes impossible to continue avoiding. Not always dramatically. Sometimes with a simple, unexpected encounter. Sometimes with a message that arrives at the perfect wrong moment. Sometimes with the sudden understanding that the moment you were waiting for has already passed, and this is the last one. The eclipse is not threatening you with this conversation. It is telling you that the conversation is part of what is completing. And initiating it consciously, deliberately, before the eclipse forces the conditions, is infinitely better than having it happen to you. Before August 28th, initiate the conversation. You already know what you need to say. The eclipse has been building up to this moment for weeks. Step into it before it steps into you. Thing 4. What you have been tolerating. The fourth thing the lunar eclipse will force into the light is the thing you have been tolerating. Not suffering dramatically. Not in crisis. Simply maintaining, continuing to carry something that is no longer yours to carry because putting it down felt more complicated than continuing to hold it. Pisces is the sign of the martyr. The one who carries what belongs to others out of compassion, out of loyalty, out of the unwillingness to cause disruption. The lunar eclipse in Pisces specifically targets this pattern. It illuminates what has been quietly draining rather than genuinely nourishing. Not to create guilt about having tolerated it. To make the tolerance visibly unsustainable. Before August 28th, something you have been tolerating is going to feel heavier than it has felt before. Not because it changed. Because the eclipse is removing the tolerance mechanism that has been making it feel manageable. This is not a problem. This is the eclipse doing exactly what it came to do. The thing that becomes unbearably heavy before August 28th is the thing that is ready to be put down. Let it be heavy. That weight is the eclipse telling you that you have carried it long enough. Thing 5. The next chapter that is already waiting. The fifth thing the lunar eclipse will force into the light is not about what is ending. It is about what is already waiting on the other side of the ending. This is what most eclipse content misses entirely. The lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is not only a closing eclipse. It is simultaneously the closing of the Virgo-Pisces eclipse series that began in September 2024 and the first emotional completion within the new Leo-Aquarius eclipse series that the solar eclipse on August 12th opened. Which means on the same night that something completes, something else becomes visible. The next chapter. The one that has been forming in the background of everything the eclipse season has been completing. Before August 28th, pay attention not only to what feels like it is ending, but to what feels like it is beginning. To what arrives unexpectedly. To what becomes suddenly thinkable that was not thinkable before. To what person, opportunity, or direction appears in the peripheral vision of your awareness, without yet being in the center of it. The eclipse is not only completing something. It is delivering the first visible signal of what comes next. And if you are only watching for the ending, you will miss the arrival. Here is what I want you to sit with for a moment before we close. You found this video before the lunar eclipse. Out of everything you could have been watching, you found a video that names exactly what you have been feeling, exactly what keeps returning, exactly what conversation you have been avoiding, exactly what you have been tolerating, and exactly what is beginning to become visible on the other side of what is ending. That is not the algorithm. That is the eclipse corridor doing what it does in the final days before a significant peak, making sure that the people who are paying attention have what they need. You are paying attention. And here is what paying attention is worth. The 5 things I described are real for everyone. But they're not landing in the same area of everyone's life. The feeling you have been explaining away, it is in a specific house of your chart. The returning dream, it is connected to a specific natal pattern. The conversation that has been waiting, it is in a specific relationship axis. The thing you have been tolerating, it is in a specific area of daily life. The next chapter, it is visible in a specific sector of your personal future. You cannot know which sector without knowing your chart. Your free moon reading gives you exactly that. Built around your exact birth date, showing you precisely where 4 degrees Pisces falls in your chart, which house is being most directly activated by the lunar eclipse. Which of the 5 things is the one your eclipse is most concentrated around? Thousands of people have used this reading throughout eclipse season. What they consistently describe is not just accuracy. It is the specific relief of finally having language for something that has been present but unnamed. Of finally understanding why a specific area of their life has been the one where everything is concentrating. That understanding, before the eclipse peak, is worth everything. The link is in the description. First one. Free. 2 minutes. Do not let the eclipse arrive without knowing where it is pointed in your chart. 5 things. Coming before August 28th. The feeling you have been explaining away, the eclipse is going to name it. The dream or realization that keeps returning, the eclipse is going to make it undeniable. The conversation that has been waiting, the eclipse is going to create the conditions whether you initiate it or not. What you have been tolerating, the eclipse is going to make it feel heavier than it has felt before. And the next chapter, the eclipse is going to make it visible in the peripheral vision of your awareness, even as it is closing what came before. You found this video before August 28th. In the window when the eclipse corridor is most concentrated and the 5 activations are already beginning to move beneath the surface of ordinary life. That was not a coincidence. That was the eclipse making sure you were prepared. Now drop in the comments, which of the 5 things landed most accurately for where you are right now? The persistent feeling. The returning signal. The conversation. The thing you have been tolerating. Or the glimpse of what is beginning. Tell me. Because the community tracking this eclipse season together is part of how the eclipse delivers, through the recognition of shared experience, through the naming of what has been unnamed, through the collective witnessing of one of the most significant cosmic turning points of the year. Share this with someone who needs it. Someone who has been feeling something they cannot name and has not found the language for it yet. Give them this video. Until then, it was not a coincidence that you found this. Trust what brought you here.